All right, listen up, y'all.
Greetings, everybody. This is another episode of All Things Education Official. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share. I am your resident host and educator, Mr. Abdullah, giving you education from a foundational Black American male's perspective. Today, we're going to delve into Black male educators and their importance in the classroom.
Together, these four men are a rare sight in the nation's public schools, where only a small fraction of educators are Black men.
I teach ninth grade English,
freshman Algebra 1,
African American history,
environmental science.
They teach the core freshman subjects.
All right.
How did it happen? Working with administrators, they created a team at Martin Luther King High that doesn't exist in any other Philadelphia public school.
I'm called to do this.
Eric Butler shares that calling with Denzel Fleming and two childhood friends, Marcellus Chisholm and Michael Fleming.
Take out your activity worksheet or goal.
Their common goal, to provide an image that's more than academic in a school that's predominantly Black male students.
A lot of our students don't have a male physical present figure in their life. And I know that in our ninth grade academy, they have close proximity to not just one, not two, not three, but four.
As you can see, that was a wonderful display of Black male masculinity in the classroom and helping to move our children forward. It's something that I have readily preached since I entered the field of education. I have seen its effects not only outside of myself, but just observing male principals, male vice principals or assistant principals, classroom teachers, custodians, security. I see the lasting effects that having Black men in a building with predominantly Black children, how that can affect them positively and lead them onto a much more positive path. According to the HetchingerReport.com, in the article titled "Schools Can't Afford to Lose Any More Black Male Educators," just 7% of America's public school teachers were Black during the 2017-2018 school year, while Black students make up 15% of the student population, according to the most recently available data from the National Center for Education Statistics. Also, research shows that Black teachers can turn around young Black students' lives, leading to improved academic performance and higher graduation rates. I know personally, I work with mentorship groups. I worked in an all-male educational space where 99% of my population were Black men. I understood how they saw us initially because of the high single mother households in the community in which I worked, which is, it's represented across the board and across the nation. I saw that a lot of them were a little apprehensive to me initially, but once they recognized that I was not a threat, I was not competition, I was merely there to assist them become the best version of themselves, I saw drastic improvements, and I've developed relationships not only with these young men, but with their families that will be long lasting. According to the same article, Black boys' emotions and behaviors are often misinterpreted by teachers, the majority of whom are white women. Nationally, Black boys are overassigned to special education, judged by teachers who do not understand their behavior or are too quickly to decide that their behavior is unusual instead of digging deeper. Then they're put into isolated, self-contained classrooms or disciplined frequently. When Black boys have Black teachers, it prevents that, allowing teacher and students to often connect on a deeper level. I think that we need to address the elephant in the room that Black male educators are seen by white male and female teachers the same way a regular white citizen would see the police. We are brought in purely to contain situations that they do not understand, that they're not willing to try to understand because they do not understand the culture of the majority of Black people. Though we are not a monolith, Black people do have a lot of similarities the way we respond to things. Our trauma responses are the same in many instances, and oftentimes we approach everything from an apprehensive position. A lot of white teachers do not understand that, but Black male teachers in particular are very cognizant of it, and they work around those things. According to teachforamerica.org, creating schools where Black male teachers can thrive, the representation of Black men matters in classrooms. Black men spend more time mentoring and counseling students than teachers of any other demographic. For black boys from low-income households, exposure to a black teacher for 1 year in elementary school reduces high school dropout rates by 39%. Let's read that one more time. For black boys from low-income households, exposure to a black teacher for 1 year in elementary school reduces high school dropout rates by 39%. That speaks volume to the importance of black male teachers, which always leads me to the position that as educational institutions, black men should be recruited heavily, and it should be stated as such. We are looking for black men. We're not looking for men of color. We're not looking for minority men. No, we are looking for black men. Because as you can see by the data, a 39% high school dropout rate will be decreased. I think that that is amazing. I think that it needs to be considered. And I think all districts across the nation, if you have a significant black population, these things should be considered. One of the concerns, though, or some of the many concerns, and I can attest to this, is that black teachers and especially black male teachers are often expected to take on more duties than other educators of their race. This is invisible tax and can take on many forms, such as the expectation that they must serve as liaisons for families of color, meaning for this article on this, for this broadcast, black families, and discipline students of color. We're not talking about students of color. We're talking about black students. At the same time, black teachers often experience their authority being challenged by white colleagues. I'd like to add an addendum to that. Not only are they challenged by white colleagues, they're challenged by white adjacent colleagues or colleagues that have bought into the ideology that black boys have a problem that needs to be solved. During one of my earlier stints in education, I was working in a school in Brooklyn, New York, and I had a teacher. She was not a white female. She was actually a black female, but she was married to a white man. She went to predominantly white school. She grew up in a white environment, white neighborhood. She was livid that the students listened to me without yelling, without screaming, without threats. They listened to me, and she found that abhorrent. She was so angry that she tried to pit students against me. And even though it was, disheartening to see, because the children are the ones who ultimately suffer, I was not surprised. I've seen it from some of my white colleagues, male and female, but I do recognize that's one of the pitfalls of being in education as a black male. Even if I am working with majority black students, I find that my white colleagues truly don't understand how I'm able to develop relationships. And also, to add to that, it's not just being black and a male that helps me. Being black, a male who's conscious of who he is and also loves black children. That's one of the primary things that helps me to be, I would say, successful in building relationships not only with the students, but with my families of the students, with the stakeholders, with entities outside of the school that would help maybe donate, lend assistance, financial or otherwise, to my student population. Oftentimes we say to ourselves, well, he knows them because, he's black. No, it's because at one point in time I was them, and I never forget that. And I remember, as I always tell my students, I want to be to you the Mr. Abdullah that I never had. And that is one of the few things that our white counterparts can offer our black students. Once again, this is another episode of All Things Education Official, giving you education from a foundational black American male's perspective. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share. Put us in the algorithm. Come on over to this channel. Help people understand we're giving you education from this perspective, which is very rarely professed on this channel or on this platform. Once again, you are dismissed.
Yeah! You are all expurgated. You are dismissed.